Hello, and welcome everybody to our 2024 Portfolio Management Summit. We are delighted to have over 100 registrants across the world really wanted to dive deeper into the field of project portfolio management. My name is Dr. T. Wu, and I'll be your host today, as well as a presenter on some of the topics. Shortly following the introduction welcome, we have Greg talking about improving your strategic execution capability in a complex world. Here, he will take a deeper look at the strategic alignment side, making sure that the portfolios are closely aligned with your organization strategy. Next, we have Roman diving into, I think, one of the technical areas of portfolio management, and really it is the importance of data. As you can imagine, digitization has been happening since about the late 70s, and of course, we are right now at the cusp of AI becoming very mainstream. So the data driving all that transformation is becoming ever more important. Next, we have Theo and Panos really taking a close look at the portfolio management office, establishing and running one. And they use an excellent example from their country of Greece to highlight the importance aspects of managing a portfolio management office. Then we'll have lunch break. And for those who have PFMP, there's no real need for you to stay for this portion. So you have about 45 minutes. But for those of you who are interested in the PMI's PFMP or Portfolio Management Professional Certification, please stay and I will provide a broad overview of the certification, as well as go through some sort of the tricks of the trade as you work on the application, as well as preparing for the examination. Finally, there's a coupon code to some of our courses. After lunch, we'll have Chris kick off, and my apology to Chris because it is a fairly dense topic around portfolio risk management. Chris is a vibrant speaker, and I think his presentation is extraordinarily thorough, informative. Next, we have Jessica highlighting her amazing career and building herself into a portfolio manager. And then the final topic of the day is enhancing firm performance through portfolio management, will be presented by me again. Here, I am focusing on one of sort of those nagging problems or challenges that I face as a project program portfolio management professional, which is really the distinction between accountability and responsibilities. I think on too many occasions, we tend to blur those lines and really not maximizing or optimizing the performance side of what that entails. As the final topic that we have, which we call the panel expert Q&A, this is where we have the participants submit questions, and we have about 20 of them. There are actually a couple more that came in after the deadline. And of these 20, we have a whole bunch of experts looking at them and responding and providing their view. Because some of these experts, which could be speakers and advisory board members, are from around the world, and we do have quite a bit of participants from Europe, it's getting a bit late. So this is not real time. And here, Chris, Jessica, and myself will tag team and read off and synthesize some of those responses. We, of course, will publish them as well. My team has put together a fabulous program guide, which I believe most of you should already have access to. We send out the link a couple times via email, but just in case, here you could scan the QR code and download it at this URL. The program guide contains not just the information about the speakers and the topic, but also introduce the advisory board member, how do you claim PDUs. And so it's a really helpful guide. And then, of course, given that we are running off on Zoom technology for this virtual conference, technology mishaps can happen. If you do find difficulties for whatever reason you abruptly cut off, please access and try again, say within 10 minutes. and hopefully we'll get it back up and running. And if it's truly down for whatever technology reason, we'll reschedule the presentation and the summit for another day. And then finally, I want to express my gratitude to really a number of group of people. First, we have the speakers. We have Chris, Greg, Jessica, Pano, Roman, and Theo. We have a core team, which we call the advisory board member for the summit. And you can see the people here. Many of them contributed to the expert Q&A. We also have expert panelists that comes in and provide also different feedbacks, and you can see them here. And finally, my team at PM Advisory, April and Mary, want to thank them for putting together the program guide, made all the organizations, the registration page to make this possible. So thank you very much for your participation. Our hope is that you will find our summit to be in-depth, thorough, applicable, useful, and highly relevant. So take time to network, to learn, and hopefully share your insights with others. Thank you so much, and we are looking forward to having you in the rest of our summit today. Hi, I'm just getting prepared and start the recording with Greg's presentation coming up in 2 minutes. For all of you on the conference, if you can pin Greg onto your screen. Unfortunately, there's a technology snafu, and I'm playing off my computer, so you'll see me. But trust me, I'm not the presenter. We have our strategic execution expert, Greg Zuccarini. So please pin his photo instead of looking at me. I don't deserve the credit.
Thanks, Tim.
I think people have to manually pin you to see you. That's why. I'm not sure. I pinned you here, so I see you. Actually, I realized because I have a separate computer and that's running, and right now it only shows the people who's speaking. So if I may ask you do a really quick introduction, and at that same time ask people to pin you, they could pin you. Otherwise, they'll be pinning me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Greg Zuccarini. I'll cover, more about myself in the second slide. But yeah, my background is in strategy execution and running large transversal projects and programs in some global corporations. So yes, it'll be interesting to cover this with you, and hopefully because this is a fully recorded presentation, so hopefully it'll be able to come through properly. Just getting some of the technology sorted out. Okay. So are you able to present?
Yes. So thank you, Greg. I'm going to start playing the going through the presentation. As Greg mentioned, he's here physically, but in order to prepare, and he's a very, very thorough person, clearly. He also pre-recorded. If the sound audio is really not audible, or if it's bad, let us know. And Greg is here happy to also jump in. So I'm now going to start playing the audio version of this presentation.
Okay. Good day, everyone. I'm Greg Zuccarini. It's an honor to be with you today and be one of the first to present on the subject of strategy execution, with special emphasis on complex organizations operating in a VUCA world. We are a bit limited with our time, so whilst I would love to make this as collaborative as possible, I request you hold off your questions until the end, and then try and answer them as best as I can in the time remaining. Or leave them for the panel discussion. So without further ado, let's get started. More about me. My passion is making strategy work. I've spent my career helping large organizations, from global corporations to public sector institutions, successfully navigate complex transformations. My journey began in commercial property development feasibility studies and then business and strategic research and planning. But I quickly realized that even the best plans are useless without effective execution. That's what led me to specialize in the implementation of M&As, strategy, statutory changes, risk and compliance projects, ERP systems, and value chain transformations. I've run project portfolios across diverse industries in Africa, including finance, health, construction, the public sector, retail, and IT. And my focus has always been on delivering results that have a real impact on the ground. My company, Rainmakers PMIS, focuses on making strategy work through critical areas like strategic human resource management, and as such, maximizing the value of intangible assets in strategy execution. But I'm more than just my profession. I believe we are all here for a higher purpose, and that our minds are tools we can use to make a positive difference in the world. That's why I'm passionate about sharing my expertise and helping others build their strategic execution capabilities. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about thinking, it's about doing. It's about making things happen. It's about making strategy work. How many of you have been involved in an ambitious strategic initiative that didn't fully achieve its goals? Has your company ever embarked on a major new strategy that needed significant adjustments mid-course? In this introduction, we'll cover the learning objectives and the case for change. Learning objectives. I developed this presentation with the goal of dealing in some small way with the disconnect between traditional project portfolio management education and the complexity of strategy education in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, or VUCA. Firstly, as will be covered later, there's been a dearth in dedicated strategy execution training. Secondly, I believe that the oversimplified approach often taught in academic settings can lead to inadequate solutions when applied to real-world scenarios, especially within large multi-sectoral organizations facing transversal strategy requirements. Think about flight simulations for commercial pilots being trained to deal with difficult and complex situations that they may face. Let's take a deeper look at the issues and potential solutions as outlined in the learning objectives. 1. Integrate strategic context. PPM education should emphasize the alignment of project portfolios with overarching strategic goals and dynamic nature of strategy in a VUCA world. Secondly, foster systems thinking. Encourage students to view projects as part of a larger interconnected system, considering the ripple effects of decisions and the need for adaptability. 3. Embrace uncertainty and ambiguity. Teach students to develop resilient project portfolios that can withstand unexpected changes and navigate ambiguous situations. 4. Prioritize the human factor. Strategic HRM training for strategy execution students should focus on linking human resource management practices to organizational goals, emphasizing talent development, performance management, and change management as key drivers of successful strategy implementation. 5. Provide practical approaches for strategy execution by PPM professionals. 6. Showcase principles and approaches with case studies. Case studies bridge the gap between theory and practice. By addressing these gaps, we can better prepare future leaders to navigate the complexities of project portfolio management in a VUCA world and drive successful strategy execution within large multi-sectoral organizations facing transversal strategy requirements. Numbers are stark. It is clear that often employees lack of understanding of the firm's objectives and are unable to align their behaviors. Secondly, strategies often fail due to implementation factors rather than the quality of the plans themselves. Thirdly, most employees are disengaged in their relationship with their employer. Fourthly, budgets are often misaligned with strategy. Some of the latest research from the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants further illuminates this gap. of which it is clear that the parts of the organizational ecosystem often fail to work together in a cohesive manner. As such, that this misalignment often stems from outdated mental models and paradigms that hinder effective execution. Overcoming these challenges requires a fundamental shift in how organizations approach strategy, fostering employee engagement, breaking down silos, and ensuring incentives are aligned with strategic objectives. The importance of intangible factors impacting strategy execution. Let's be honest, most strategy classes focus on creating brilliant plans, not on making them happen. Yet research shows most CEOs spend 90% of their time executing, not strategizing. So why the disconnect? The answer lies in history. Our focus has been on strategic planning and project management tools developed in the mid-20th century. Only recently have we started focusing on strategy execution as a separate discipline. This means we've overemphasized technical skills and ignored the human factor. We treat strategy like a project with tasks and timelines, but we forget about the emotions and politics involved. Think about it. Have you ever been part of a team where the CEO's actions caused resentment or anger among managers? That collective emotion can linger and sabotage the best laid plans. Professor Hu from INSEAD calls these collective emotions. They're different from personal feelings. They're shared by groups, they last longer, and they can become a powerful force against change. So what's the solution? First, we need to acknowledge the human factor, understand that emotions and politics are part of the game. Secondly, we need to address collective emotions head on. Don't just tell people what to do, explain why it matters. Show respect, build trust, and get people on board. Finally, remember that strategy execution isn't about tasks and timeline. It's about people. It's about understanding their emotions, motivations, and concerns. You can do that. You'll be well on your way to executing your strategy successfully. Now, just going to show the short video clip on this. Agile beyond processes. It's about people.
Sorry, going back to play the video. Huh, I'm sorry, I can't open the specific file. We will make the video link available to everybody and people can review it. Greg, if you could put in the Q&A or in the chat box and we could post it, that'd be great. Thank you.
I've sent it through to April already. No problem.
Thank you. April, if you could post it, that'd be great.
Instruction on road ahead.
Agile beyond processes. It's about people. Agile has transformed countless organizations, yet many still struggle. Why? It's not just about processes and tools, it's about people. Agile's core strength lies in its emphasis on individuals and interactions. But without psychological safety, this strength becomes a weakness. Teams that fear speaking up, admitting mistakes, or challenging ideas are not agile. They're stuck in survival mode. Think of it like this. Agile processes are the scaffolding, but the real foundation is a team's ability to communicate openly and honestly. Without that, the whole structure crumbles. I've seen firsthand how a lack of psychological safety can derail even the most well-trained agile teams. The key is to foster an environment where everyone feels safe to contribute their best, even if it means being vulnerable. So if you're struggling with agile, don't focus on the processes. Invest in building trust, encouraging open communication, and creating a culture where everyone feels heard and valued. That's when the true power of agile will emerge.
On road ahead.
As Shakespeare said, much truth said in jest, and in this case, Dilbert's truisms, a humorous look at corporate strategy execution. Firstly, management's grand plans often clash with the realities faced by employees. Secondly, bureaucracy and red tape, getting anything done feels like navigating a maze. Short-term thinking, today's profits overshadow tomorrow's sustainability. Last but not least, office politics reign supreme. Decisions are made in backrooms, not boardrooms. Gilbert offers a humorous take based on Scott Adams' experience at AT&T. These truisms reveal common pitfalls in corporate strategy execution. By acknowledging and addressing these challenges, organizations can increase their chances of success. Just to strategic execution. Imagine investing significant time and resources in crafting a strategic plan, only to see it falter during execution. The consequences can be severe: missed opportunities, wasted investment, and damage to company morale. Let's dissect the most common roadblocks to successful execution. I have covered thus far at a high level some of the most pertinent reasons I've come across for strategy execution failure. But let's now delve a little deeper in that exploration. The world is full of wicked problems, complex issues with no easy solutions. But what if our own way of thinking is part of the problem? Today, we explore how our paradigms shape our approach and how we can change our perspective. Paradigms and the wicked problems. Our mental models or paradigms are like the lenses through which we see the world. These lenses can distort our view of complex issues, leading to short-term fixes that fail to address root causes. The iceberg model. Like an iceberg, our beliefs have a visible tip, vast hidden part. To understand our own biases and assumptions, we need to dive deeper and ask why. Not just once, but 5 times. The so-called 5 whys to the truth using root cause analysis. Holism versus reductionism. We need both reductionism, that is breaking down things into parts for efficiency, and holism, seeing the whole picture to understand interconnectedness. Finding balance is key to solving complex problems. Navigating complexity. To tackle wicked problems, we must challenge our assumptions, collaborate to gain diverse perspectives, embrace uncertainty and experiment, think long-term about the impact of our decisions. Other factors like the agent principle problem and groupthink also contribute to wicked problems. We can discuss these further if time allows. In conclusion, by understanding our paradigms and embracing more holistic long-term approaches, we can better navigate complexity. Let's challenge our assumptions, collaborate, and work towards a more sustainable future. A key paradigm of success is that of efficiency versus effectiveness. Let's break down how Peter Drucker's quote and its distinction between efficiency and effectiveness applies to strategy execution. English is a fascinating language, and one phrase that often sparks debate is doing things right versus doing the right things. The distinction is crucial, especially in leadership. Tactical thinkers focus on doing things right. They're meticulous about processes and procedure. However, being efficient doesn't guarantee success if you're working on the wrong tasks. Imagine a team flawlessly building a product no one wants. That's efficiency without effectiveness. Strategic thinkers, on the other hand, prioritize doing the right things. They align their actions with the organization's goals, ensuring every effort contributes to the bigger picture. This approach is about prioritizing impact over simply checking off tasks. So why do so many organizations get this wrong? They often drive into execution without a clear strategic direction. This leads to wasted effort, misallocated resources, and missed opportunities. It's like embarking on a journey without a map. To avoid this pitfall, organizations need to prioritize strategic clarity. This involves asking the fundamental question: why are we doing this? Once the purpose and long-term goals are defined, leaders can develop robust strategic plans, implement alignment tools, and communicate the strategy across the organization. Unfortunately, in many cases, if not most cases, project success is defined by meeting efficiency metrics. Arguably, this is often unwittingly applies to programs and portfolios as well. Remember, efficiency is important, but not only valuable when applied to the right tasks. By prioritizing strategic thinking and aligning actions with overarching goals, organizations can achieve greater impact, and avoid the trap of busyness without results. In the words of Peter Drucker, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. A VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. It is the new reality for businesses. Traditional linear strategy struggles in this environment, as IBM's missed opportunity with personal computers demonstrates. Instead, strategy must become an ongoing conversation, continuously adapted to changing circumstances. Complex organizations need advanced alignment tools like the balanced scorecard and scaled agile framework, lean portfolio management to facilitate this dialogue. We need to regularly ask ourselves, are our future expectations and assumptions still valid? Are we betting on the right opportunities? Are all stakeholders aligned with our strategic goals? If not, how do we change course? By continuously optimizing strategy and engaging in high-quality reviews, complex organizations can thrive in the VUCA world. Let's focus on these key questions. Are our long-term objectives still the right ones? Are we on track to achieve them? Organizational design, management, and the cascade problem. Let's talk about a fundamental challenge faced by many organizations, the cascade problem. This is the struggle to translate top-level strategy into meaningful action across the entire organization. It's especially prevalent in large, complex structures and can lead to conflict, inefficiencies, and missed opportunities. The old way, top-down and outdated. Historically, management models like Taylorism and Theory X have emphasized a top-down command and control approach. Employees were seen as mere cogs, and communication flowed in one direction, from the top down, like a rigid military hierarchy. This could be slow and unresponsive. The cascade problem thrived in this environment. Strategic vision got diluted and misinterpreted as it trickled down through the layers of management. Employees focused on narrow tasks, lacked understanding of the bigger picture. The modern way, networks, agility, and empowerment. Thankfully, we've evolved. Modern organizations are increasingly embracing network-like structures and agile teams. Communication flows more freely, collaboration is encouraged, and employees have much greater ownership of their work. Think of the difference between a traditional military and a coalition like NATO, the latter with its emphasis on interoperability and decentralized decision-making is far more adaptable and responsive. In this environment, the cascade problem becomes less of a barrier. However, challenges remain. Keeping everyone aligned with the overall strategy requires clear communication and shared goals. Measured individual and team contributions within a more fluid structure can be complex. Strategic execution in complex organizations. Mergers and acquisitions and strategic shifts in multi-SBU conglomerates amplifies employee alignment issues due to cultural clashes, uncertainty, communication breakdowns, and talent loss, hinder integration and execution. Furthermore, complexity, conflicting priorities, internal competition, and bureaucracy impede alignment with overarching goals, respectively. To mitigate these challenges, we need to consider and drive strategic communication, which provides transparency, consistent messaging that builds trust and addresses anxieties. We need to have empathy, which acknowledges cultural impact and offers support through integration programs. We need to have a shared vision, which clearly articulates the new vision and strategic goals, emphasizing strategic contributions. We need to have early wins, which demonstrate potential benefits and builds momentum. We need to have agility, which maintains flexibility and embraces iterative approaches to adapt to dynamic situations. Proactive communication, focus on a shared vision, and addressing the human element are key to achieving successful strategy execution in these complex environments. Well-crafted strategy is just the starting line. The real race is won in execution. Yet most organizations stumble here, focusing more on planning than doing. This is often due to a lack of investment in developing mature strategic execution capabilities. This capability doesn't appear overnight. It requires time, thought, and resources, but neglected, and it can vanish in a day, as many companies chasing short-term gains have learned. Strategic execution is a journey, not a destination. Organizations exist on a spectrum of maturity. At the lowest level, execution is reactive and haphazard. At the highest level, it's ingrained in the culture with an emphasis on continuous improvement. Key dimensions like leadership, culture, and alignment define this capability. Measuring where your organization stands is crucial for targeted growth and closing the strategy execution gap. We'll dive deeper into how to measure and elevate your capability later in this presentation. For now, remember this: invest in execution, and your strategy will truly deliver. Now look at some of the foundations for successful execution. Mindset over methodology, the real hurdle in strategy execution. A client recently approached me about implementing the scaled agile framework in their organization. They expected a process-based solution, but the real challenge, I explained to them, was something much deeper: their mindset. They didn't take this too well. The problem: mistaking tactics for strategy. The client was stuck in a tactical product management approach using Agile Scrum. Their problem had evolved into a strategic one, involving expectations, budgets, and timelines. This is a wicked problem, complex with shifting requirements and no easy answers. The quick fix trap. Too often we see a quick fix mentality. People try applying adaptive methods without addressing the underlying cultural mindset. This creates a vicious cycle. The problem: complex strategy, like replatforming a product. The quick fix: apply Scrum, focusing on timeline and cost. The unintended consequence: deeper issues like IT governance are ignored, and risks are amplified by Scrum's focus on short-term delivery. Analogy: think of trying to solve homelessness with only temporary shelters. You address an immediate need, but the root causes like poverty and mental health remain. The key takeaway: don't blame waterfall project management or deterministic thinking. The real issue is a lack of flexibility. Rigid methodologies can't handle the complexity of modern business. The solution: a mindset shift. Embrace adaptive strategies. Be prepared to respond to change, not just plan for it. Foster collaborative cultures. Encourage open communication and flexibility at all levels. Commit to continuous learning. Regularly assess and adapt your approach. In conclusion, the mindset shift sets the stage for success, regardless of the specific methodology you choose. Remember, it's not about the tool. It's about the mindset behind it. Making strategy work, or MSW. Evolving your strategy execution capability. MSW is a roadmap that helps organizations become more performance-focused, strategically aligned, and results-driven. It's about empowering every employee to contribute to the company's strategy through a continuous focus on prioritization, improvement, and control. Think of MSW as a cycle. We start by prioritizing, defining your strategic plan and key objectives. Then we move to improvement, identifying and addressing performance gaps. Finally, we focus on control, locking in those improvements to ensure long-term benefits. The journey towards MSW is an evolution, not a revolution. It involves several steps: executive buy-in, strategic planning and mapping, balanced scorecards, performance improvement, scorecard business reviews, process management, employee goal and compensation, budget integration. MSW is a journey. It takes time, commitment, and willingness to change, but the rewards, improvement, performance, alignment, and long-term success are well worth the effort. So where do you start? Identify your organization's burning platform, the most critical challenge you're facing. Use that as a starting point for your MSW journey. Enlist the help of outside experts if so needed, like Rainmakers PMIS. Remember, each step you take brings you closer to your goal. Celebrate your successes along the way and never lose sight of the ultimate prize, sustainable business results. Making strategy work. Frameworks for assessing strategic execution maturity. We'll now discuss how to assess your organization's strategic execution maturity. Think of it like a health checkup for your company's strategy. There are several tools available to help you with this. Core frameworks, like the Balanced Scorecard, provide a comprehensive overview across financial, customer, internal processes, and learning and growth areas. Ideal if you want a big picture view of strategy impact. OKRs, or Objectives Key Result Areas, focus on goal setting and measurable outcomes, perfect for agile organizations aiming for rapid progress. Integrated Performance Management, RPM, connects all aspects of performance with organizational goals, ensuring a unified approach towards strategy execution. Then there are specialized frameworks like the Strategic Management Maturity Model, SMM. Pinpoints your organization's maturity in strategic management and helps identify areas for improvement. There are other maturity models. These assess specific areas like project management, process improvement, and strategic alignment. Choose one that addresses your organization's specific needs. Tools, specific tools, like the strategy execution software that abounds in the marketplace, which streamlines mapping, tracking, and reporting. There are project management tools, specifically for strategy execution, which provide detailed insights into project progress and execution effectiveness. There's RPM solutions, integrated performance management solutions, that some software platforms offer, specifically tailored to RPM. Now, how do you choose the right tools? Well, consider your organizational culture. Is it adaptable, OKRs, or structured? Defines the type of tools that you need for a specific situation, leading and lagged variables, whether you're able to measure them, and your degree of the extent to your strategic HR capability. Also define the ability to measure roles and jobs against the specific strategic requirements. Specific needs. Do you need a broad overview or to improve specific functions? And can you invest in new software or should you leverage existing tools? Remember, start small, assess, analyze, and refine your approach. By understanding your organization's strategic execution maturity, you can take proactive steps to improve, ultimately leading to a better outcome and greater success. The Balanced Scorecard is like a car's dashboard. It provides a comprehensive view of the business performance and direction. It helps you navigate the two cycles of business: running the business, day-to-day operations like sales and customer service, and changing the business, long-term goals like innovation and growth. The Balanced Scorecard tracks key metrics across 4 perspectives: financial, customer, internal process, and learning and growth. This holistic approach encourages collaboration, breaks down silos, and fosters innovation. Think of it as a GPS for your strategy. It prevents you from getting lost by creating a clear visual map that connects top-level goals to actionable objectives for every team member. Each perspective has specific targets and key performance indicators, ensuring the strategy is concrete and measurable for everyone. In short, the Balanced Scorecard is a powerful tool that aligns your efforts, measures your progress, and drives you towards achieving your goals. Let's now look at practical approaches to effective strategy execution. What is a business model and why is it important for strategic execution? A strong business model is a bridge between strategy and execution. It's a blueprint that outlines how your company creates, delivers, and captures value, encompassing a value proposition, the problem you solve for customers, the target market, your ideal customers, revenue streams, how you make money, key resources and activities, your essential assets and processes. Why is this crucial? Clarity and focus. A business model forces critical thinking, creating a roadmap for decisions. Competitive advantage. It differentiates you from competitors. Resource allocation. It guides effective investment. Adaptability. It helps you identify opportunities and pivot when needed. A business model translates strategy into action. An actionable plan. It transforms ideas into an operational plan. Alignment. It ensures all departments are on the same page. Performance evaluation. It provides a framework to measure success. To leverage your business model, utilize tools like the Business Model Canvas, a visual aid for brainstorming and communicating your model. The Portfolio Canvas, a framework to guide investment decisions and ensure strategic alignment. In essence, a business model is the DNA of your company. It's not just a theoretical concept, it's the roadmap that guides your journey to success. The Safe Lean Portfolio Management Canvas is a visual strategic tool adapted from the Business Model Canvas. It's a cornerstone of the Scaled Agile framework, providing a clear overview of a portfolio strategy, value propositions, key activities, resources, and finances. This canvas plays a pivotal role in strategy execution by aligning the entire portfolio with common business objectives. It helps identify and prioritize value streams, defines key activities and resources, and considers the financial implications of the strategy. The Portfolio Canvas fosters communication and collaboration among stakeholders, acting as a shared reference point for strategy discussions. It also supports decision-making by providing a comprehensive view of the strategic landscape. This canvas is not static. It's a living document that evolves with the changing business environment, ensuring agility and adaptability in the face of new challenges and opportunities. In essence, the Safe LPM Portfolio Canvas is a powerful tool that helps organizations align their strategy, identify and prioritize value streams, manage resources, and make informed decisions, all contributing to a more effective strategic execution. The strategy map for strategy translation. The Safe LPM Portfolio Canvas is a great starting point, but it's like a high-level map. It shows the destination, but not the detailed route to get there. Strategy maps fill the gap, acting as your organization's GPS for success. Think of it this way. A military general wouldn't lead troops into battle without a clear, detailed plan showing how to achieve victory. Strategy maps are your business's battle plan, translating your vision into actionable steps everyone can understand. Strategy maps do two things. They translate your business model into a language everyone speaks, ensuring alignment across the organization. Two, they test your model in the real world, providing valuable feedback for improvement. So how do they work? Strategy maps are visual tools that illustrate your key objectives and their relationships. They show how actions like faster process cycles lead to outcomes like increased customer retention and ultimately higher revenue. This cause and effect clarity is crucial for aligning HR with the business strategy, developing meaningful metrics and communicating HR value to stakeholders. It creates a holistic view, highlighting how all parts of the organization contribute to the bigger picture. In short, strategy maps are essential tools for any organization that wants to execute effectively and achieve its goals. They provide the detailed roadmap needed to turn your vision into a reality. Linking compensation to the balanced scorecard. The balanced scorecard is a powerful tool for strategic management, offering a holistic view of performance beyond just financial metrics. However, to truly unlock its potential, it's crucial to link the BSC to incentive compensation. This connection focuses employees on what truly matters for success, aligning their actions with strategic priorities. When people see a direct link between their performance and reward, their motivation and engagement soars. To effectively link the BSc to incentives, use clear, measurable metrics that are transparently communicated. Design meaningful incentives aligned with the BSc targets. Ensure programs are fair and equitable, considering individual and team contributions. Regularly review and adjust incentives to stay aligned with the strategic goals. By making this essential connection, organizations can drive focus, motivation, and accountability, ultimately fostering a culture of continuous improvement and achieving their strategic vision. Project portfolio management approaches for strategy execution. By now, I hope you've gathered that no project portfolio management approach, no matter how efficient, is a sole determinant for successful strategy execution. However, efficiency matters, especially for this audience. So let's briefly compare a few methodologies and their impact on strategy execution. Safe lean portfolio management is ideal for agile organizations prioritizing rapid value delivery and adaptability. It excels in industries undergoing constant change. PMI's portfolio management provides a standardized, structured approach with a strong emphasis on risk mitigation and financial performance. It's common in larger and established organizations. Management of portfolios by OGC, Office of Government Communications in the UK, provides comprehensive guidance for managing diverse portfolios of change initiatives, programs, and projects. It's suitable for complex organizations with multiple stakeholders. When choosing a methodology, consider organizational culture. Is it agile or traditional? Industry and context, fast-paced or stable? Complexity, how many stakeholders and moving parts? Remember, tailor the methodology to your specific needs. Continuously improve based on feedback and results, and invest in training and support for your team. In safe lean portfolio management, a set of tools work together like a well-oiled machine to steer technology investments. First, leaders define the big picture, the portfolio's purpose and long-term vision. Then they map out how value flows to customers, pinpoint bottlenecks, and prioritize the most impactful improvements. This strategic plan gets translated into actionable goals for teams who track progress with clear metrics. The result? Organizations stay laser-focused on delivering value, adapt to changes swiftly, and ensure everyone is rowing in the same direction. Think of it as a GPS for your technology journey, guiding you towards success. Execution and action, case studies. Imagine investing significant time and resources in crafting a strategic plan, only to see it falter during execution. The consequences can be severe: missed opportunities, wasted investment, and damage to company morale. Let's use case studies to dissect the most common real-world roadblocks to successful execution. Case study, Netflix versus Blockbuster. In the world of project portfolios, it's easy to get caught up in optimization. We strive for efficient execution, but what if our projects are aimed in the wrong direction? The downfall of Blockbuster, once a giant, teaches us a critical lesson. Even a well-run portfolio can fail if it doesn't adapt to strategic shifts. Imagine a perfectly orchestrated project portfolio, delivering DVD rentals flawlessly, just as streaming takes over the market. That was Blockbuster's fate. Their projects were efficient, but their strategy was misaligned with the changing landscape. Efficiency is meaningless without the right direction. Netflix is the antithesis of Blockbuster. They've repeatedly transformed their business model, even when their existing model was profitable. They foresaw the rise of streaming, invested in original content, and became a powerhouse. Their portfolio wasn't just about efficiency, it was about adapting to strategic opportunities. As portfolio managers, our role is not just about delivering projects on time and budget. We must be strategic advisors. We need to constantly assess the market, identify emerging trends, and ensure our portfolios are aligned with the company's evolving strategic direction. Efficiency is a tool, but strategy is the guiding star. In a rapidly changing world, the most successful portfolios are those that embrace change. Let's not just be project managers. Let's be strategic visionaries, guiding our organizations towards the future. The Daimler-Chrysler merger failed due to a lack of comprehensive due diligence, neglecting cultural differences, leadership misalignment, incompatible business models, and HR challenges. A holistic audit should have included cultural due diligence, leadership alignment assessment, business model compatibility analysis, and thorough HR scrutiny. The true cost, including cultural integration costs, delayed synergies, brand dilution, and loss of morale / talent, should have been considered. To overcome biases, independent oversight, devil's advocates team, and a pre-mortem exercise should be necessary. Instead of the merger, a strategic alliance or limited acquisition could have been pursued. And now, for a personal case study, navigating regulatory reform in a financial services conglomerate. My challenge: as a strategy and regulatory PMO manager in a large financial services firm, I faced the complex task of implementing sweeping regulatory reforms. The challenge lay in balancing compliance with a potential disruption to business operations, sales, and strategic goals. A structured approach. I adopted a systematic approach to tackle this challenge. Firstly, I conducted a comprehensive analysis. I conducted a thorough assessment of our current and desired states, identifying gaps and prioritizing actions for each regulatory KPI. 2, risk-based decision-making. Working with executives, we quantified risk tolerance and made informed decisions based on a clear understanding of risk-reward trade-offs. 3, strategic alignment. I realigned corporate and business unit strategies to a comprehensive roadmap, ensuring regulatory compliance was integrated into core business objectives. 4, architectural alignment. Leveraging enterprise and business architecture frameworks, I ensured technology and business processes supported the new regulatory landscape. 5, financial modeling. I developed robust financial models to evaluate different implementation scenarios and optimize cost efficiencies. 6, change management. I implemented changes in a top-down cascade, emphasizing communication and training to ensure understanding and buy-in at all levels. Lessons learned. The initiative yielded significant progress, but not without challenges. Key lessons learned included: address technical debt early. Technical debt in legacy systems can significantly hinder analysis and planning. Proactive management is crucial. Align incentives and mitigate fear. Resistance to change often stems from misaligned incentives and fear of the unknown. Transparent communication and addressing concerns are essential. Foster a change of continuous improvement. Iterative approaches such as SAFE LPM promote adaptability and responsiveness to evolving regulatory requirements. Challenge short-termism. Embracing a long-term perspective and aligning actions accordingly is crucial for sustainable success in a rapidly changing regulatory environment. Key takeaways. This case study underscores the importance of a holistic, risk-based approach to regulatory change management. It highlights the need for comprehensive due diligence, understanding the full impact of regulatory changes to the organization. Strategic alignment, integrating compliance into core business objectives. Effective change management, addressing the human and cultural aspects of change. Long-term thinking, balancing short-term compliance with long-term strategic goals. By adopting these principles, organizations can navigate the complexities of regulatory reform, minimize disruption, and even turn compliance into a competitive advantage. Next steps. My suggested actionable recommendations or takeaways. Firstly, embrace adaptive planning. In dynamic environments, rigid plans quickly become obsolete. Implement iterative planning cycles, emphasizing scenario planning and contingency options for potential disruptions within your project portfolio. Secondly, champion the big picture. Prioritize communications. Address the cascade problem through a relentless focus on communicating the overarching strategic vision. Establish the clear communication rhythm across all project teams, ensuring every contributor understands their work's alignment with organization strategic goals. This could mean visualizations and frequent updates on how KPIs relate to project progress. Thirdly, decentralized decision-making within the framework. Empower project teams within a well-defined strategic framework to combat the stifling effects of complex organizational structures. Grant well-defined autonomy to project teams, ensuring that clear performance metrics and reporting mechanisms allow for timely course correction by leadership when needed. 4, invest in strategic execution skill building. Develop the strategic execution capabilities of your people at all levels. Create a tailored training program focusing on strategic thinking, change management, and cross-functional collaboration within your PPM teams. 5, rethink how metrics align individual and team goals using a holistic framework like the balanced scorecard. Move beyond purely financial measures, incorporating metrics addressing customer satisfaction, internal process efficiency, and learning and growth within your PPM evaluations. 6, incentivize strategic alignment. Review your compensation structure. Can you incorporate rewards tied to the balanced scorecard to reinforce a focus on long-term strategic objectives? 7, prioritize strategic initiatives. Ensure a healthy mix of manage the business projects focused on efficiency and change the business projects focused on innovation and growth. Conduct portfolio reviews for strategic alignment. Tag projects as manage versus change to ensure the right balance for your organization's goals. 8, visualize your business model. Ensure all project managers have clarity on the organization's value creation process. Utilize visual tools like business model canvas to map key elements such as customer segments, revenue streams, and key partnerships, highlighting dependencies and critical assumptions across projects. 9, link strategy to execution. Translate high-level strategy into tangible goals and actions using the strategy map. Requires each project to have a mini strategy map demonstrating how their objectives and measures ladder up to the organization's bigger picture. 10, assess and improve your PPM maturity. Use a model like the Strategic Management Maturity Model to objectively identify strengths and improvement areas for your PPM function. Periodically conduct a self-assessment against the Strategic Management Maturity Model, developing specific improvement plans to enhance your strategic execution capabilities over time. In conclusion, throughout this presentation, we've explored the challenges that hinder strategic execution, from constantly shifting environments to complex organizational structures. However, we don't simply dwell on those difficulties. We've focused on solutions. Remember, success lies in a paradigm shift, moving from simply doing things right to doing the right things. It means actively aligning people, processes, and systems with your strategy. This requires embracing holistic frameworks like the balanced scorecard and mapping out your business model for greater clarity. Importantly, a strategic execution is a continuous journey. We must be willing to adapt, communicate, and relentlessly pursue those core objectives that give us a competitive edge. As we leave here today, let's not only carry those insights, but a strong sense of responsibility. Use the discussion questions we explored to ignite conversations with your teams. Focus on what actions each person will take to become more adept at strategy execution. The transformation begins with us, from a strategic clarity to empowered decision-making. Let's turn our ambition into sustained success. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present today.
Greg, thank you so much for that very, very informative presentation on strategy execution. So I'd like to open the floor to see if there are questions. We have at least 3 minutes that we can use for questions. So let me start with the first question then. As I was looking through your presentation, I see the various frameworks that you incorporated from, say, LPM to balanced scorecards. If you work in a relatively immature organization that does really, up to this point, say, more ad hoc planning and sort of strategy as a comes type environment, which model do you recommend as sort of the easiest and most intuitive to adopt? It may not necessarily be the most effective, but at least the entryway into strategy execution. What are your thoughts?
Well, traditionally, the way that I've been taught in strategy execution is, and this goes back to London Business School and some of those individuals who are part of my education. They distance themselves from the resource-based view or the more adaptive, agile frameworks to go forward. So SAFE is quite unusual in that regard. And it was the first to actually look at scaling agile to be able to be strategic. But for small organizations, it's not possible to scale agile in that way. So if they want to be agile, you probably need to look at something like a water scrumfall type framework, WSF, or you need to just stick to waterfall and be purely deterministic in your strategy execution approach. Indeed, that approach has been around, more than 50 years, and it's very robust. And I still think that waterfall has got its great merits. So if anything, I would convince a smaller organization to stick to waterfall, but have an agile mindset. It is possible to have an agile mindset and operate waterfall like, top down in a waterfall structure. So that would be, my advice. Indeed, a small company that I've been consulting to are not able to scale agile, and I've actually advised them to take the WSF route, water scrumfall approach, in which they have a strong need for determining their budgets and their timelines and not focus on quality. So that approach would work for them to go into a scrum cycle and then come out with testing on the other side through the sort of quality assurance V model. So yeah, a long way of answering you, but hopefully that sort of answered you.
Thank you so much. For everybody, I know our next session starts in 5 minutes, but there's actually one good question I do like Greg to respond to. And for those of you who have to take a quick break, please do so. The question that's shown in Q&A right now by Walt Hursky, he asked, "Hi, Greg, what are some common or effective tools and techniques to ensure the entire organization is aware of top-level strategy and adjustments as they occur?" What are your thoughts?
Quite frankly, the larger the organization, the greater the lag between the strategy requirements and what is communicated into your business units. So going back to that cascade problem, that's emphasized with, quite the larger the fragmentation geographically or into business units, etc. So the size of the organization plays a big role in terms of the speed of alignment. But quite frankly, going back to the maturity model that I discussed and, techniques like strategy mapping and strategic HRM, those are capabilities that whether small or large organizations they can bring in. And I think the key emphasis here is understanding how people and roles actually add value to the organization. And that's how simple it is. So what does a person's role add as value financially in the organization? And you know, it's quite unusual, but it's quite strange. But many organizations are actually not able to define what value a role adds to in terms of profit, gross or net or whatever. And it is a problem when it comes to managing people and ensuring compensation links through to the changes that are required in their roles, in which our projects and programs actually create. So when we see a strategic initiative and we need to drive it, our problems then are enhanced when we then go into a cascade model and we don't address the changes that are required at the individual level. So to cut a long story short, need to align quickly to strategic requirements and have that link through to the individual in terms of their changes in their role and the value that they bring to the organization. Then you'll be able to have quite a quick turnaround. But if you're not able to change how a person's remunerated in relation to the changes that you're bringing about, you'll always have a problem, no matter how much you communicate or train.
Thank you, Greg, for that excellent answer. Or if you have further questions, you could always email us and we'd be happy to forward to speaker. But for now, thank you so much, and take a quick bio break. We'll get ready for our next exciting speaker talking about data-driven portfolio management.